Greetings. Welcome to Speak Nerd and Enter.
All right, and welcome to the Speak Nerd and Enter podcast. Sean let me do the introduction today, and I'm super excited about that. So I am Mark. That is, of course, Sean in the middle, and bringing up the rear is the KMAN, all the way from the West Coast. And today we are going to talk about Top Gun Maverick.
I like
We've
that
been
word.
waiting. I know we've been waiting for the KMAN's review on Top Gun. Like, we decided we pushed all our other topics aside, and we're gonna dive in with that first. So, without further ado, Kelly, tell us what you thought.
Okay, look, I'm going to start with the previews because
No,
I think
stop. I don't want to talk about that anymore. So anyway,
no. We're going to talk about the previews because I had to sit through them. Okay, it was one thing that I sat through this movie once when I took my car to the shop. It's another thing that I had to go back deliberately with the intent of reviewing this movie, and you know, I think the previews were the thing that took the longest for me to get through because there was Thor for a few dollars more, whatever the bloody title is. Right, and I don't know.
I like that title. Yeah,
I'm sitting on the fence with the Thor movie. I know it's out, and look, I'll admit I'm
we'll
probably
get
gonna go
to
see
that.
it.
We'll get to that.
I'm gonna go see it. My daughter and I have seen all the other Marvel movies. She's gonna want to go, and so it's gonna happen. But I'm feeling like this is gonna happen on Discount Tuesday or a matinee or something like that. You know. So there's that. Then there was that other DC movie that's coming out with
Black Adam.
Yeah, Black Adam.
Okay.
Which I am not enthused about at all. It's like every DC movie I see, I instantly compare it in my mind. It's like the comics, right? And you're thinking, well, DC comics are Marvel comics, and Marvel comics were always better, and it seems
Weren't
to be
they?
that way in the cinemas also. I don't know. I felt nothing from that movie that was compelling me to go see it. And then there was this really horrible preview for this thing. Paws of Fury, which seems like a Kung Fu Panda knockoff.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And
Can't wait.
I'm sorry.
Didn't
I
that come
almost
out
left
already?
the theater. If
I
it
don't
did,
know.
it needs to close already.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Well, you
Kelly,
may-
serious question. Kelly, have you seen the Peacemaker show on HBO?
No.
Okay. Did you
Does
see
that
the
have to do
Suicide?
with Paws of
Did you
Fury?
see the last Suicide Squad movie?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's a DC show that got actually really good reviews, including from us. So,
So you're saying I should go watch it?
I do think it's probably one of the only. Like, I think the best DC outing so far is Shazam. I think that was the best movie they put out.
So. Yeah.
Followed by Wonder Woman. I think the original Wonder Woman. And they go downhill
Like
from
the
there.
original with Linda Carter?
Sure.
No, that wasn't put out by DC. It's
Doing
not
her
that
little
bad,
spin.
actually. Yeah,
Doing
doing
her
her little spin. Yeah. Anyway, I think you might like that show. I was very pleasantly surprised by how good that one was. And then there's the animated Harley Quinn one is pretty good. But you really got to look hard to find good DC comics like material. So, but anyway, that with those three, I think are the best. You know, Shazam, the Harley Quinn animated show, and then Peacemaker was surprisingly good. Not to get too off topic, but I would recommend those.
All right. I'll check them out as soon as I'm done watching everything else that's streaming.
Okay. Yep, add it
on
to
the
the
net.
list. Add it to the list.
Yeah. But then, okay, so I make it through the Paws of Fury thing, which is just ridiculous. And if you're out there and you're thinking about going to Paws of Fury,
don't
you've
have
got
a
little
6-year-old.
kids, don't go. Save yourself from that. Don't waste the money on it. I mean, there's inflation. There's all sorts of other things we got to do to protect our finances. And going and seeing Paws of Fury so your kids are happy is not one of them.
And you can go see Kung Fu Panda without having to go to the theater.
That's right, which is a better film.
Yeah.
So, but then sitting through all of that brings me to Top Gun. Okay, so I want to say this about Top Gun. I was entertained by Top Gun. Okay, and I'm going to say because I think you have to make distinctions, and I did think about this many times during the movie, is that you're going to get whatever it is you expect from Top Gun. If you want to go in and be entertained, and you think it's going to be an entertaining movie because Tom Cruise tends to make some entertaining films, then you're going to enjoy it, and that's fine. If you're going in and you think, well, none of this is realistic, there would never be a moment where there's a 60-year-old fighter pilot being chosen to, fly some sort of life-saving mission. Well, then, yeah, you're going to be pissed off. Okay.
In an old rundown plane.
And I do
No,
want to
that
say
was to escape. They sent him in a state-of-the-art plane going in. He took an old one out.
Yeah, don't jump ahead. But
That's right.
I
Mission
will say that
first.
I wasn't going to go see Top Gun because I thought no, nobody needs to see what I expected would essentially be a remake of the original Top Gun. But a friend of mine at work was
How
saying, no,
wrong
no,
you were.
you really have to go. It's going to be a great. She loved the movie, and it didn't really dawn on me what that really meant until I was sitting in the theater. And so, but let's get into it because I'm looking at this, and at the beginning of the movie, they're talking about it was 3 decades in the making. Okay, now I don't know if I'm the only one that felt this way, but 3 decades in the making, from the closing of the of Top Gun 1 to Top Gun 1B is more than 30 years, and I'm starting to wonder to myself as I was watching this movie, what did you spend the last 30 years actually doing? It's like they spent,
Is that a
30
serious question aimed
it, it
at Maverick the pilot, or an a I'm
just the
screaming at the
storytelling in
universe
general.
question?
No, just the storytelling in general. Because if it took you 30 years to make this movie, I'm thinking, well, you spent 29 of those years trying to find the wettest water, and then you went out for tacos, and then with the last 6 months left, you
That's.
you
I love
you
that he made that reference.
you
That's
watched,
good.
in the last 6 months, you went and watched the original Top Gun and said, okay, how can I make a shot for shot recreation of this? And that's essentially what it is. Okay, 10% new footage is what it should have said. It should have been Top Gun 1 with 10% more footage.
The planes were all new except for the one at the end. I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's right, except for the one that wasn't.
No, but they had shot for shot. So they had Maverick proving that
What were
he
they
is,
supposed to invent new fighter maneuvers in the last 30 years? Come
I
on.
just think I think that's funny because they were told no, we can't have you use the actual Gen 4 stuff. You get F-18s and that's it.
and they made an excuse for F-18s, right? Because I was watching a guy review this movie who was actually a senior instructor at Top Gun, and the guy interviewing him said, "Well,
That
why did
guy's a
they use
hack.
the
He doesn't really know what
F-18
he's talking
versus like
about.
the F-35 or any of the other more modern jets?" And he said, "Well, they made some excuse about GPS jammers, and so you couldn't use
Oh, right.
guided bombs, so they were like F-18."
And for the record, I have not seen that guy. He's not a hack. I'm sure he's great. I was just making a funny comment. He's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm messing with Kelly. I'm not messing with that guy. He might,
But I
send
find
a
it
smart missile after me.
ridiculous that we have in the first movie we had the Soviets, but it wasn't really the Soviets because nobody could
Yeah.
actually say that. And
Flying
in this
American planes.
yeah, but in each movie it's
Americans
just
can't tell the difference.
bad guy in black plane. That's all it is, right? So I mean, it's just like an old Western movie. And so you just knew the bad guys are in black plane, and they have GPS jammers. That's something that's like the strongest military in the world can't figure out how to overcome. So what do we have? We need Mav. Mav. That's who it is. We need the Mav. Bring him in. And so you establish the Maverick bit, and I got really hung up at the beginning. I think the thing with that Mach 10 plane that he was flying, that was really interesting. And I think the background of that was really interesting.
Yeah, the SR-72. Yeah.
Yeah, which was
Yeah.
they did a lot of consultation with Skunkworks on that, and I thought that was really well done. But I do have,
Unfortunate name for anything aerodynamically made, by the way.
Yeah.
but I do have questions about it though, because when you go into that, the fact that the senior commander has said, you need to stand down, but then, oh, he's not here, so I guess the order doesn't apply because if he's not physically there to tell you to stand down, the
No,
phone
they
call
didn't
doesn't
receive
matter.
an order to stand down. They just knew he was going to come give that order. And they're like, well, we're not going to wait. I'm going to go fly this plane
Yeah.
and show them what's what, because he's a Maverick.
Yeah, because it had to formally be done in person. There's no way he could have told them on the phone.
Yeah, he had to drive all the way out there. Can't send an email. You can't fire up the VTC.
Yeah,
Can't
there's
give
no
them
phones,
any
nothing that can
notification
deliver
at
that
all.
order.
Must
That's
be
right.
in person.
Right.
And
And again, thinking about it out loud, how much do you think that plane cost? Right. When we look at what is those new F-35? I think they literally. I don't know what they cost, but it might be like $1 billion each or something. I know the B-1 stealth bomber was like $1 billion.
Gross domestic product of Chile.
so he arguably just crashed $1 billion airplane because he wanted to not pick up the phone and answer the call, so he don't destroy the $1 billion airplane.
well, the first thing that I had a problem with was the fact that Maverick just walks out to a hangar where apparently this thing is sitting fully fueled and ready to go.
Yeah,
Where's
that's what
the
they
rest
do.
of the ground crew? There's like 7 people in this sort of mission group to fly this plane,
Yeah,
and
he
I'm
brings
thinking,
the same guy with him that hands him his helmet, like he's
Right.
following him around like a golf caddy.
And to go back to your point, just a second, to go back to your point, Mark, the guy's coming out there to pull their funding. So in order to save their funding, they fly the plane and then blow it up.
That's government efficiency for you.
That's right. We're on target.
We're on target. Yep. We spent that $1 billion. More, please.
well, I mean, look, anybody in corporate America is going to understand. Look, if you hit your KPI, that's the only thing that really matters. Okay, there was no PPI that said, "Hey, the plane actually has to come back." They were just
He said
hit Mach
PP.
10.
He said PP. I was thinking the same thing. Hey, this is a family-friendly podcast, okay? You keep that kind of dirty talk to yourself.
My bad. Pardon me. Pardon me. Well, if that's okay, hang on. I'll have to edit what I wrote.
Yeah, I know you will.
There's a few sentence enhancers I've got to take out.
all the profanity.
No,
For
so I mean,
Top
look,
Gun Maverick.
there's that at the beginning, which okay, and to the crash of the plane that you guys are talking about. I thought that was kind of weak storytelling because for me, it mirrored the event where they were testing the SR-71 many years ago, and the guy had the SR-71 simply disintegrate around him and his and the back seater.
Pissed
And
me
during-
off.
And during the ejection process, I mean, the one guy died in the backseat and things like that. So, I mean, I'm just like, again, what I'm struck by in Top Gun, if you're going for entertainment, fine. If you go in for reality or good storytelling, you're going to be a little irritated because all they do is they take from other movies, they take from real life events. There's nothing compelling and original about it.
In the first movie, when Goose died from the ejection, no, like for real, that was based on something that actually happened, and they actually made changes to the airplane to like put a delay in there so that the canopy would have more time to get out of the way. So that was based on real events, a thing that they had actually changed. I'm not sure anybody's going into Top Gun Maverick looking for realism. You know what I'm saying? Like, this hasn't set itself up like, what was that Act of Valor, which was that movie that was all the actors in it were actual Navy SEALs. And it was about Navy SEAls running around doing Navy SEAL stuff.
I remember.
Right?
That, yeah.
The acting in that was not great, but you forgave it because these guys were actual Navy SEAls and they were running around doing Navy SEAL stuff, and it was the plausibility and the realism of what they were doing that you're like, oh, that's really cool. I don't think anyone's like looking, hey man, we are making the most technically accurate like movie about what we can do with these planes. Go see Top Gun Maverick for this technical accuracy.
Obviously,
they
because
certainly
he ejected at Mach
flying
10.
As such.
They what? Huh?
I said obviously we're not gonna go too far into reality here because he ejected at Mach 10 and somehow survived enough to walk into a diner and ask for a glass of water.
Well, don't forget, he had also been sprayed with that alien blood. So as soon as he hit the ground and died, he woke up. It was that same day again.
I
Like
think you're
Groundhog
thinking
Day
of a
meets
different
Maverick.
movie, but
Is that a different movie? I'm sorry, I
is a
get
different
lost
movie.
with this.
Actually, that movie had like 4 different names. It was like Live, Die, Repeat, Die Another Day,
Maverick, on
Die
Earth,
2,
but with
Maverick.
stuff.
But we digress.
But once we get past
Kelly.
all of that and we realize that this movie is based on the writers sitting around watching the original Top Gun, Star Wars: A New Hope, Aliens, any rom-com, and then Top Gun again, and then they sat down to write this movie, I mean, then you'll be okay with it. I'm
okay with it. For the record, I am 100. I think you are underestimating how much nostalgia sells. They've given the people that grew up on Top Gun, because I was like 16 years old when I saw that, and then the new one comes out, and how many people could not and didn't get to experience that in a movie theater? You know what I'm saying? And so like that's why we have a 50-year-old pilot, not because we got a bunch of 60-year-old pilots running around.
Thank you.
He's still a captain. You know what I mean?
And how he made it to captain. I mean,
Iceman's running the whole Pacific Fleet.
Well, in all fairness, captain is colonel in the Navy, so.
Yeah, but he's been captain for a very,
Yes,
very
he
long
has.
time.
Because
Yes,
he
he
keeps
did.
buzzing the tower. He can't help himself.
And
Yeah,
they
that's
have the coolest little symbol. It's the bird.
but I thought look, overall, again, entertaining movie. I think the plot was really contrived. I think it was really just okay, let's do that Star Wars bit where you have to fly through the,
Through
through
the
the canyon
trench.
and
Yeah,
and
Yes.
you've got to hit a target that's just slightly smaller than a womp rat back home.
yeah.
And apparently Maverick is the only one that can bloody well do it. The thing that I got the most excited about
But
this
he did
movie,
use his targeting computer.
he did, but the other guy didn't. The other guy's it's not working. It's not
They
working.
did. Remember, they
I
did.
Yeah,
He's
just
right.
wanted I
They
hoped
kept.
throughout that
Yeah.
movie that there would be Goose somewhere in the ether
Use
just
his
saying,
voice.
use the force, Mav, use the
Trust
force.
the force, son.
Right. I think the thing that got me the most excited was the fact that they included Danger Zone, which is just
Yeah.
totally awesome. I think, that
Of
was it for
course.
me.
Danger
You know,
zone.
my favorite part of the entire movie is how that one guy's call sign was just like Bob. I was like, okay,
Right.
everyone else is like Maverick
was
and
great.
Yester and like Kick Ass and Reaper and Bob. I was like, that was pretty funny. I was really, really enjoying
I
that
had
one.
to actually go look up call signs, and I mean, like
Yeah.
nobody has those cool call signs,
No.
and
Right,
Bob was
right.
the most accurate one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Dan,
if I
I
was-
saw you were talking about the professionals with that, and I have seen and talked to a few, and they say generally the call signs are based on something embarrassing, something
Right.
stupid.
That's right.
So yeah.
There's some really great stories about where some of the call signs came from out there on the net.
Otherwise, everyone out there is going to be Mr. Black.
That's right. No Mr. Pink.
I thought the casting in the movie was kind of weak. I thought the romance story was contrived. The whole thing was that I was really just in it for the plane flying, and if that's all you expect out of it, it's fine. There were the moments of tension, and if anybody hasn't seen the movie, I mean, I think we've already spoiled it. But if you
Does he
haven't,
win?
well, no, I mean, but sort of.
He wins, but do you?
I mean, you're out money. He's got it.
Can't get those 2 hours back.
Yeah,
And
no,
I got to see the little thing at the beginning with Tom Cruise saying, "Thanks for coming." Did
That's
you
true.
see that?
That was so
I did.
heartfelt. I appreciated that. I was
I
like,
cried.
that's why I'm here. Thank you, Tom.
No, but I got to that point where Mav gets shot down, right?
Spoilers.
And then I remembered that my friend recommended that I go see this movie. And I remember that she hates any movie where everybody dies, where any of the good people die, right?
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
I just
not
remember
a
that.
fan
And I
of
was like,
Reservoir Dogs, is she?
no, I don't even think she's ever seen it. That's not her
Don't tell
kind
her
of
how
film.
it ends.
You should tell her you loved Maverick. You gotta watch Reservoir Dogs.
Gotta watch Reservoir Dogs.
Like she
All right,
hated Rogue
all right,
One.
small segue. I recommended Reservoir Dogs. I was waiting tables at this restaurant, and like the hostess or whatever, we were talking movies, and I was like, "Oh, Reservoir Dogs is great." And I was like, "You should go see that." And so she rented it from Blockbuster. That's how long ago this was. She came back and she's, "Oh my god, I cried! You gotta warn me." I felt so bad. Like she wasn't expecting it.
Tell her to watch The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah.
Erase
No,
your head.
Top Gun was just shot for shot. So you had the Mav as Mav. You had him go back to Top Gun, which nobody wanted to send him to. You had, he's the surprise teacher instead of what was it, Kelly McGillis in the first one.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's Mav is the guy who was
It's like,
harassed.
who
in
are
the
they going to
bar.
get to teach us? We're the best of the best of the best.
Right. And if there was any more sort of showmanship and testosterone running through that, I mean, it would have just been Aliens. is
And
what
that
it
was
would have
mostly
been.
from the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. You had that. You had the whole training bit where he's got to be the best, and then he's got to ultimately save the day. I think the weakest part in the casting was Jon Hamm, who I don't buy as an admiral like ever. I can't look at Jon Hamm without thinking of him as funny. Jon
Yeah,
Hamm's
and
just
that's
hilarious.
the thing. I love John Hamm. I love
See, he's
him,
a
but
big
it did
name.
take
I'm
me
with
out
you.
of
Like
it.
he's a big name. Like he's a star. People recognize him, and to see him as this kind of very bit part bad guy. You're right. I think it was like, oh, I get to be in Top Gun. Sure, man. Sign me up. I feel like that was more the conversation rather than you could have got a better bad guy.
I want him to be a funny guy. I want him to be charming and
Yeah.
adorable rather
Yeah.
than some jerk, admiral.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Why wasn't he the guy handing?
But I mean,
Mav
I
his
like
helmet
Jon
to-
Hamm. I just don't think this was the role for Jon Hamm, right?
No,
I think that's
not in the
what
least.
we're all saying. Do we all agree on that?
You're
I mean, I think he was trying to reprise his character from Mad Men. You know, if that guy was an admiral, this is what he would be. But it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. And then the ending of the movie
Oh, so
was
good.
so
Chills.
predictable.
Chills.
So predictable.
Thank you so much, Kelly. When you first saw that movie, when you first saw it, when I saw it, right? As soon as they got in the dogfight, I leaned over to Helena and I said, okay, the real jerk guy is gonna come in and save him at the end. He's gonna, he's gonna show up and save him at the end. And then when he
Hangman,
got,
because he always leaves them hanging.
yeah.
You gotta watch out for
And
him.
and then when he got grounded, no, you're not going up there and all that. Helena said, you sure? You sure? I said, yeah. He's gonna save him.
I'm still
Yeah.
sure. Yep.
That's exactly it. Yes, he's
Yeah.
going to save him. So, did you feel that as soon as you saw that, you were like, okay, yeah, the guy who leaves everybody because they made a point of hammering that into your head like a 6-inch spike. They're going to make sure they give him the opportunity to come in and have that.
No, that was
character
the redemption story that his character deserved.
No. But
So,
yeah,
anyway,
it was. No, it
No,
totally was.
not
As soon
by
as Maverick gets shot down and outruns, an attack chopper, and saves himself by diving behind whatever the hell it was he dived behind, and none
I
of
believe
those
that was
bullets
a
can hit him.
log. It was a
Was it a
bulletproof
log?
log
See, I
that
thought
grow
log, and then
naturally in that area of the world.
the
I-
ironwood of Siberia or whatever that
Yeah,
was.
it's a Siberian
And how are you-
ironwood tree.
How are you not going to say that's Russia? That was a Hind helicopter, or the Hollywood
Yeah.
version of it from Red Dawn. They pulled that out of
And a
the,
mothball.
probably the same chopper.
Same
Probably
chopper.
the same one.
Suspended from a cable.
You
It was
got
a
what
model,
else? What
yeah.
was his name?
Who?
Robert. What was his name?
Yeah.
Oh, from like Wolverine
From Red Dawn,
kind
yeah,
of thing. Yeah,
I can't
Robert.
remember his name. C. Tom something. It was one of those three.
Oh, C. Thomas Howell, or yeah.
It was
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I see him standing out by the log getting shot.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking log, and then,
Hey, and
and then
Tom
I had a
Cruise was
moment.
in that,
Who?
wasn't he? Or
Tom
was he?
Cruise
No,
was
he
not
wasn't
in-
in that.
not
He
in-
was in Outsiders. That's what he
Outsiders,
was
yeah.
in. Yes, which
I
also
was
had
think-
Hind helicopter.
I was thinking log, but then I was thinking, wait a minute, no, it wouldn't make sense to jump behind a log because those rounds would easily tear that apart.
Yes,
and
they
hit-
would.
And but
Yes.
no, thanks for clarifying, Mark, that it was a log. So after we accept that, then we have to accept that
Well, it was
Rooster-
frozen, and frozen logs are much harder to shoot
Yeah.
through than
You're
non-frozen logs.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
very
Yeah.
much.
30mm cannon rounds. Yeah, can't get
Yeah,
through
there's
that.
no way. I mean, barely dented.
But then
You'll
we
be
have to
fine.
accept that Rooster came in unopposed by anything, shot down the helicopter,
Yeah, I
and
saw
then
it.
Rooster
I don't have to
trying to
accept nothing. I
escape
saw it.
gets hit by SAM missiles, the likes of which I've never seen in any sort of military anywhere. But I mean, they go up.
You've
They
seen a
blow
lot of
him out
SAM
the sky.
missiles in person, have you?
I have
Seen a
I
bunch
have.
of them?
I have a catalog.
Do a catalog of SAM missiles.
No, but I mean, I mean, look, a lot of these things are just put in there to look evil and nasty. It's like that's not how that would be set up anywhere in the world. This is this is a ridiculous setup. But okay, we're too far into the movie. But then we have to accept that Rooster gets shot down, he ejects, and that somehow Mav is unopposed the entire time to go on a search and rescue mission to find this one dude in the middle of a forest somewhere where they have a fight where they're shouting and yelling at each other while there's bad guys everywhere, right? But then amidst all of this unrealistic outcome, these two guys traipse across a bombed airfield and just happen across an F-14, fully fueled, ready to go. And again,
Yes.
They had to unplug some cables and stuff, as I recall. And
And
you had to pull the
Andrews-
switch or something.
pull the pin.
Andrews had a yard sale on those for the
Yeah.
Navy because it's actually a joint base now with Air
Yeah,
Force
Sean
and
is
Navy.
referring to Joint Base Andrews, located in Maryland, where he and
Yeah.
I grew up and where he
Yes.
still lives. So we've been on that base many times
That's right, and they got rid of all their F-14s, and
and sold them to Russia, apparently.
well, it wasn't Russia. Remember, they never said
Sold them
that.
to some as of yet unnamed Slavic state.
That's
perhaps.
right.
Iran.
That's right. Some Slavic state. undetermined by geography or temperature or any of that stuff because you couldn't tell where the hell it was because it had
That's right.
everything. Desert, snow, mountain,
That's right.
Ocean. It had it all.
I believe the country you're looking for is Jihadistan.
But what I have a hard time swallowing here. I mean, aside from the F-14 being ready to go and the fact that they could take off from a taxiway, at the last, clipping that landing gear off, and that had no effect on the aircraft whatsoever.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
No.
It's fine.
That reminded me of Airplane, by the way.
Oh, totally.
Remember that?
Totally.
I was like, oh, they're
Absolutely.
doing a call out to Airplane.
They should have added that as one of the movies they watched when writing this. It would have made
Love
it
to have
better.
seen an inflatable autopilot. That would have been amazing.
Some Hare Krishnas out there handing out flowers,
Mhm.
whatever you've got. But then, I mean, in any movie that does this, and this is really a complaint about movies, is that here you've got your main characters in a dogfight at the end, and you just know they're not going to kill the main characters. You just know that. I mean, my friend from work doesn't like movies where the heroes die, but you just don't see this. And so, I mean, for me, there was no tension in that. I knew that something was going to happen, and sure enough, there's Hangman coming in at the end with some smart ass comment, and then
Okay,
they all
so let
go
me
back.
ask you this: would you have been much more happy if they'd gotten shot down, captured, and
Yeah.
shot right after a show trial?
Yes.
Is that the happy ending you're looking for?
I think
Yes.
it would have been
Them
fitting.
being dragged behind a jeep?
Actually, I'd have been happy if they'd have gone through all that, lost their landing gear, and then tried to land on the boat, skidded off the end, fell into the ocean, and were mobbed by a series of eels and goldfish. That would have made me very, very happy. Or any combination, any sea creature you want to put in there. Jellyfish, they had a red tide. Whatever it happened to be, I'd have been much happier with that.
Right.
When Maverick sacrificed himself for Little Goose, whatever his name was, when he did that and his plane got hit, right? I was like, please end the movie now, end it. Just go to black and stop. That would have been great. That would have been a great cost, effort, sacrifice, all those things. The, incomparable charisma of Tom Cruise amongst it all.
That's right.
But they couldn't do it. And I knew it. Like Kelly said, I knew it was going to be like a Three's Company episode where there was going to be a misunderstanding and all kinds of, shenanigans were going to take place. And then by the end, everything goes back to the way it was.
Right.
That's what it was. And I would have loved cost. You're right, Kelly. I knew everybody was going to be okay at the end of that.
They lost 2 airplanes plus an experimental SR-72 in the making of this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So they're out material, but nobody actually died. Hell, we're not even sure if any of the bad guys died. They could have all ejected too.
Yeah,
Well,
just
we
like
don't
G.I.
wanna,
Joe.
we don't want to escalate.
Like G.I. Joe, you see him coming down and parachutes way in the background there.
Big massive car crash, and then you got that voice. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
That's
I'm just a little broken up.
That's who the enemy was. It was Cobra. That's who it was. That's who they were attacking. That was a
that
Cobra
would have made
base.
more sense.
That's
Yeah.
right. It was Cobra Island is where
That's what it was.
all of this took place.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's who they were attacking. That's the new villain. They need to just use that. Just make all the villains when can't use Russia or China or something. Just make it Cobra. If they'd have known, by the way, they could have just waited and used Russia as the bad guy again. But
They could. I look all in all, I'm going to say like plot and storyline were really disappointing for me. But if you want to see some cool flying of airplanes, and there was a lot of work done on this film in order to make the flying as realistic as possible, and you get a lot of that out of it, and so if that's what you're going into it for, you'll see some cool flying, and when is that ever a bad thing? But again, I think overall, I give the movie 3 KMANs out of 5.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
is that including the cuddle puddle they had on the beach?
2 KMANs out of 5.
2 KMANs out of 5. Okay.
2 KMANs out of 5. If we include the cuddle puddle, you take that out, and we get
Cuddle
to 3.
And Jon Hamm coming out there. Where is everybody? There's no one in class. He's out on the flight line. Well, all the planes are here. Where's everybody at?
You bring that up when Jon Hamm walked out on the beach, and he has that back and forth with Maverick, and then he walks away. All I could think about is he's going to hate all that sand in his shoes.
Right? Yeah.
It gets everywhere.
It doesn't get there. That sand's going to be there for days.
And then
He's
he
going to
looks
have
over.
that. He's going to have that other admiral trying to clean his shoes for days and days.
No, I was getting ready to go even further. That's all right. I should stop.
The
other
kill
thing,
the women and the children too, because
no. The other thing about that movie, though, and I was wondering if either of you caught this. Helena brought it up to me. Val Kilmer looks like Drew. She said Val Kilmer looks like Drew. I was like, yeah, he does. Val Kilmer looks like Drew. You could have put Drew in there and said that's Val Kilmer.
He looks like Drew if you know Drew looked like Val Kilmer and had cancer.
Well, he does have the hair and kind of the same look. Voice is very similar.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And he's always sick.
And their
Drew's always sick.
charisma might as well be a Xerox copy.
Yeah. I will say this. Look, I don't want to make too much fun of the Val Kilmer inclusion in the movie because I thought that was really good of him to do that. I think it's good that they put
I thought that was
people
great.
back in the movie. You know,
Yeah.
I
love
noticed
Val
that they killed off Goose's wife. They were like, no, she doesn't get to come back, but they let Val Kilmer in, and I thought that was
everybody
that was
they
really
couldn't
well
work out a contract with. They died.
Yeah, they died. They didn't come here. But again, I think they could have definitely gone overboard if they tried to bring back as many people or as many faces as possible from the original movie.
Sure.
There were enough that you could be like, okay, cool. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like Kelly McGillis being in it and Meg Ryan being in it and some of these other ones, even some of who was the guy, Michael Ironside, I think he was in it, one of the Top Gun instructors. Like he could have been in there. So and I'm like, that was too much. I know, but that was too much. I thought they struck a really good balance of bringing in just enough of the nostalgia characters from the previous one to tell
Tom Cruise, you're our Top Gun until you die or I find someone better.
Or I find someone better. All right, I take it back. I would love to have seen that.
That would have been awesome. See, we should have written Top Gun Maverick. It would have been a great movie.
No, see, if I wrote Top Gun Maverick, it would be 5 minutes long. It would be him essentially getting tried for violations of the UCMJ and then applying for jobs at Best Buy and trying to explain his dishonorable discharge.
Getting tried and put on death row for breaking the hard deck right off the bat and endangering everyone at that base where that general went up to rescind their funding. Yeah, that was...
garnishing his pay for the next 6 million years to pay for that SR-72.
And let me say, I feel very much like Kelly does. I found it entertaining, but I just wanted them to take that extra step, on some of the things that would have made it really memorable. But I understand what you're saying, Mark. If they'd have done that, it may not have been the popcorn success billion.
That's right. And right now, as it stands today, this is the most profitable... but highest grossing movie. I don't know what profitability, but it's the highest grossing movie that studio has put out.
Oh, I don't know if it's profitable, the most profitable one, because the Navy, she do take a bite, don't she? But
look, I gotta say, this is the most successful Navy recruiting poster we've had since the original Top Gun.
Do you remember what that's from, Kelly?
I don't.
Raising Arizona.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. The government, she do take a bite, don't she? But
I love that movie. If you haven't seen that movie, go see Raising Arizona. Absolutely fantastic.
It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. It's awesome. And it has amazing jet work. So
what?
Dogfight is realistic.
That must be in the extended cut. I don't remember seeing that one. I was talking to somebody yesterday. Because we were talking about like with streaming, it's awesome, but with the DVDs, you get director commentaries and you get all like, we've gotten away from that because it's really nice to be able to like see, we put in a bunch of deleted scenes or here's a commentary by the different actors and directors and things like that. You just don't get any of that stuff with streaming anymore. No. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I kind of miss that.
Yeah, I do too. As a matter of fact, the only thing I've seen that way is you're able to, like, if you've got a subscription, you can go to whatever service, I guess owns the property and look at commentaries or something. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? It's so cool, like you said, having it right there on the DVD, being able to do it that way. I don't know why they don't offer that there. I know
because it seems like it's like we're offering subtitles for just about everything. It's really just another audio track that kind of goes
Maybe
layer.
nobody
Like,
out there wants to
I don't
do it
think it would be
anymore.
that difficult to
Maybe nobody out
have
there
it
wants
as
to do
available
it.
on a streaming service, but like
Maybe
I
they're
get it
just
as
like,
a
I
way
don't
to
want to give up a
sell.
Sunday to go do this.
Yeah,
Maybe it's something like that. I already gave you your movie. Leave me alone. Maybe it's something like
yeah,
that. I
like
don't know.
six or seven of us would really like that option.
I think a lot of people would. People love
I do
trivia
too.
that way,
Yeah.
But whatever. But I did enjoy it. I just, man, I wish they'd have put some cost into it. And Mark, to the point about the money though, successful does not make a good movie.
No, it does. The more money that a movie makes, the better it is, which is why Avatar is one of the best movies in existence. That's how movies work.
And I will say to you, Paddington 2, which is the highest rated movie of all time, apparently, on
Is it?
Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, it's the only one they had that was like.
It got like
100%.
one vote, and it was from a 7-year-old.
No, it got a bunch, but it was like at 100%. Some
Was it?
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I haven't seen it, but I saw
I give it
that.
5
and I was
KMANs.
5 KMANs. Wow.
Paddington 2, tour de force. I swear to
There
God.
you go. See, and when he sacrificed his plane for Curious George.
The dogfights in Paddington 2 really. Whew.
I can't
And
wait
the
for the
love
next one.
scenes.
Top Gun,
Wow.
Paddington
The
Revenge.
love scenes in Paddington 2 earned it an NC-17 rating.
Anyway, all right. So there you are, Kelly. I'm surprised you liked Maverick. So that's
He
Again-
didn't like it. He
again-
only gave it 3 out of 5 KMANs.
well, that's
The
more. 3 out of 5.
entertainment
That's
value.
better than half.
Eh,
Yeah, no,
That's 6 out
entertainment
of
value
10.
really.
It was what?
That's a D.
Yeah. Passing.
You're
Oh
I
my
s-
gosh.
I saw it at a matinee showing. I can't rate matinee showings badly because it didn't cost me that much. So it's more,
That's the secret for Hollywood. If they want to satisfy the KMAN,
That's
make
right.
everything a matinee showing.
Put it out on a matinee.
if you give me free tickets, I give you at least I'll spot you two KMANs.
Oh
Hey, do
man,
they
you,
have-
you're a you just admitted to being a sellout.
At yours, do they have the Whoppers or what's the Milk Duds?
At my theater?
Yeah.
No.
See, I don't know where those went, man. I used to
Yeah.
love it in the old days.
I haven't
Used to
looked
be
for
able to-
those. Yeah.
I went to see the other movie we're going to talk about at some point here, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for Whoppers or Milk Duds or something.
See, I'm always a big fan of the Goobers. I like the chocolate covered peanuts.
You can get flatbread pizzas, but you can't get Whoppers or any of that.
Mhm.
What's
Yeah, they
up?
don't have goobers at my theater
And a
either.
$15
All I can get
hot
is
dog.
Raisinets.
No, they got
Raisin-
plenty of goobers out here. You got to go to the right one, but they're all from
Mhm.
Waldorf. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to Waldorf to see a movie.
All right. All right, guys.
I remember going to Waldorf and seeing 6 Days, 7 Nights with You, Kelly, and there was like these two women,
The
like
one with Harrison
like-
Ford.
Harrison Ford and what's her name?
Yeah,
Not Ellen
Anne
DeGeneres, but
Heche.
Anne Heche. Yeah, and the dude from Friends, David
Yeah,
Schwimmer,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so there were these two ladies, like one row in front of us and just off to the right, and we could hear them talking through the whole movie. Where they're like, the dude gets like a snake in his pants, and the lady, it was like something out of Central Cast. She's like, "What's in his pants? What's going on?" Like they're talking to each other, like, "Oh my gosh, something's wrong." Me and Kelly are looking at each other like, "Oh my god, these people are hilarious."
Actual
No.
Hollywood audience people.
Right? Yes, they were falling for every bit, like hook, line,
Yeah.
and sinker, but they had no idea what was coming next. They didn't like figure it out or be like, "Okay, we know what's gonna like."
See,
it
I
was-
never believe there's people like that out there, but I guess
There are. We ran into them. It was a long
Hmm.
time ago when that movie
Mhm.
came out, but I just it enhanced my movie experience because that was not a great movie. I don't even remember. In fact, now I'm embarrassed to
Yeah.
admit that Kelly and I went and saw that in a theater. Now that I think about it, we're going to cut this part out. I don't want anybody to know.
Don't feel bad. Russell and I saw Legends of the Fall.
Well,
Gee.
did you hold hands?
I got to contain myself. Sure. All right. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Kelly. As always, an excellent
Yeah.
review. This is something that we've done amongst ourselves for many, many years. I think it's been 100 years now. We've had Kelly reviewing movies and coming up with his special take on Hollywood's fare.
Yeah,
for the public.
and looking back, I think 3 out of 5 K-Mans might be the highest he's ever reviewed any movie. So you know,
No,
I take it back. You do like Top Gun Maverick.
I think Rogue One got the highest rating.
Rogue
for me.
One, yeah, that makes sense.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll give you
Yeah.
that. Was that 4 or 5 K-Mans out of K-Man? I don't remember.
Maybe 4, because the French accent
4.
took me a while to get over on that one actor.
Well, you're gonna love Andor.
French accent on that one dude.
He reminded
Sacre
me of,
Bleu, the Empire.
he reminded me of a guy that I worked with, and I hate that guy. And so most of the movie I was just like, I just hate you. And so yeah, got a great.
Good. I'm glad no one's going to be seeing this. Yeah.
How much I need to cut out of this.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, on that happy note, until next time.
All right.
This concludes our Speak Nerd and Enter broadcast.